Hey, Howard Jacobson here with a quick thought about the difference between time mastery and time manipulation. And a lot of what passes for time management and action management and productivity is really different forms of manipulation, not really achieving mastery. And let me explain what I mean with one example. So perhaps you know people who talk about you've got to raise the stakes. If you're not getting something done, you have to create dire consequences for yourself so that you get it done. So one example of this is the website Stick, which I think is stickk.com, which is a wonderful idea. Don't get me wrong, it can work for a bit in certain circumstances, but basically what Stick does is says, here's my goal, here's what I commit to do, and if I don't do it, there's a penalty. And the penalty could be monetary. I'm going to pay somebody, and what they really recommend is that you choose a cause that you hate and put a bunch of money into escrow, and that money automatically goes to that cause unless your judge, whoever the referee is, agrees that you've accomplished it. So that's a great way to put a tremendous amount of pressure on yourself. But that's what I call manipulation. And the reason that doesn't work long term is that all it is getting you away from fear, away from something you don't want, away from the negative. So if you really want to build a life full of productivity and joy and passion and accomplishing what you want, you can't do that with rear wheel drive. I think of rear wheel drive as something that's moving you away from something. It's very powerful. It can get you unstuck, but it doesn't necessarily move you in the right direction. There's a lot of steering involved, and it can get tricky. Whereas front wheel drive, the front of the vehicle is pulling you in the right direction. Much easier to handle and much easier and much smoother once you get going to go in that right direction. So you want to ask yourself, if you're raising the stakes, if you're creating negative outcomes that you're afraid of unless you reach your goals, unless you take these actions, you're not living life based on what you want, you're living life based on what you don't want. And that's not really sustainable over the long run, and it's never going to move you to a place of utter joy and accomplishment, because you're only going to do just enough to avoid whatever punishment you've set up for yourself. So that's one distinction we're going to make a lot in the time mastery course, whether you're applying a technique for mastery or whether you're simply manipulating yourself into doing something that is not going to produce the best results for you. So that's all for today. See you next time.